Hi everybody, it's me, Free Spirit. I haven't done a do-it-yourself project in a while, so I thought I'm going to show you something that I've been working on. And I've never done this on camera before, so hopefully it's going to have some good crinkly sounds and some paper sounds and some gloves and some tappy things. And I'm going to do the first part of it tonight, and then I'll continue on with the finale tomorrow, and I'll put it all together in one nice video. So, what I'm going to do is we are going to tie-dye some t-shirts. So, I got quite a lot of t-shirts. I bought them in bulk from a company called Dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A. They're awesome. They have the fabric to dye, the dyes, all the supplies. You can even buy kits so you can have a party and make tie-dyes at your party. They have very good customer support, and I've been having a blast with it. So one of the things that I'm going to make is it's a kerchief for dogs, tie-dye. I've already made some. And then I also have many sizes of t-shirts. So we have from the little bitty ones for the little kitties all the way up to 2X. I usually try to do 8 at a time, 7 t-shirts and 1 kerchief. That's about the best quantity to do to do the wash afterwards, after all the dyeing has been done. So what I'm going to do, isn't this cute? It's kind of little. It's not the tiniest one. I ran out of the baby ones. What I'm going to do is, the first step is to fold or tie the fabric and then soak it. And so I have a 5-gallon bucket down here, and it has the warm water and soda ash. And soda ash is going to soak into the fabric, and it's going to help to get the chemical reaction of the dye to really absorb into the fibers. And in the second half of the video, when we actually rinse all of the dye off and then start untying, I'll go over some of the science behind why it works. But the nice thing is, these are really nice t-shirts. They're Fruit of the Loom, 100% cotton, very soft and comfy, and they've already been treated. So they are ready to take the dye on. The stitching is all 100% cotton too. Sometimes you get fabric that is not 100% cotton, and then the dye isn't exactly uniform. So these are really, really nice, and they don't shrink when you wash them, and the color stays very vibrant. So I think I'm going to start with a couple of the small ones, and we're going to do 2 different styles. So let's put these extras over here. So I am going to, well, before we start, I think I'll show you all the different ingredients to the different steps, and then we'll turn the camera so you can look down at what I'm doing. So the company supplies everything. I mean, down to the rubber bands and the little squeeze bottles with the little cap. So you can mix up your dyes, and you can keep them in here, and they don't evaporate. So you can do different colors, and I bought lots of different colors. But so far I've done kind of fall colors for Thanksgiving and Christmas, and They're kind of been greens and browns and oranges and yellows. And now I want to work with a little bit brighter colors. So I have, this one is electric blue. See that? Electric blue. And this one is where does it say? Oh, new emerald green. Very pretty bright color. This one is deep purple. I love purple. And this one is blue violet. So this is going to be a nice batch. I've been wanting to do the purples. I've been holding off on the blues and the purples. So green, blue, purple. And so 4 colors. So we'll use 4 squeeze bottles. And what I'm going to do is tie all the shirts, and then we soak them in the warm water with the soda ash just for 15 minutes or so. And while it's soaking, I'll mix the dyes. And so we're going to do a little laboratory work. We're going to use the beaker. We're going to use a funnel, because then we're going to pour that into our squeeze bottle. And I have measuring spoons for the dye. I'm going to use 2 teaspoons. And, of course, you have to wear gloves. So we have plenty of gloves. Also, when we start to mix the dye, we're going to be using some of this. Which is urea. It's little granules. You can see that. And that's going to be mixed with a little warm water. And then you pour a little bit of that into the dye to make a paste, to paste it up. And then once that's dissolved and there's no little blobs of dye, then you add the rest of the urea water. And then we pour it into the squeeze bottles. Once we have the 4 squeeze bottles ready, we'll take the garments out of the soda ash water, and then we'll be ready to put the dye. That's the fun part. It's really messy. But I have a lot of plastic on the table and some paper as well, some table paper. So I think at this point, I'm going to get close in so you can see my little workstation here. Okay. So I have this very inexpensive lime green plastic tablecloth. Going to keep us from making a total mess. And since it's not going to be really messy until I get everything wet and we start playing with the dye, I'll just go ahead and start with the clean t-shirt. So the first one I'm going to do is going to be, it's going to be a spiral. So I'm sure you've seen them. The t-shirts that start at the middle and they have a nice big Fibonacci spiral on the chest. It'll be on the front and the back. So what you want to do is find the space about the level of the armpits and go to the center. Take a pinch of the material through to the back. And then we're going to start to turn it. And as I turn my hand, I'm going to pull the shirt around my fingers. And you don't have to worry to be precise or perfect, because that's the exciting part about tie-dyes. It just comes out the way it comes out, and it's always kind of neat. So I'm doing it fairly tight, pulling as I go. So it's sort of going to be like a cinnamon roll. Tuck in the ends. So I'm going to take my hand out of the middle. You can see how it's kind of twirled around the middle. Okay. And then I'm going to take this. I had to hide it because the cats were playing with them. I just have a little dish with some of the rubber bands. Oops. There's one for the cats. And I'm just going to put a rubber band across the middle. Can you see this? Maybe I need to turn this a little further down. There. And now I'm going to do one across the other way. Like this. See? And don't worry if you have little pieces sticking out, because you just tuck them in. This is sort of the Bob Ross style. We'll just make it a happy little tuck. And now we'll go this way. Like that. See, we're making like little pie wedges with it. And now we'll go this way. And we'll do one more just to get this last little loose piece in. There. So I just move them so that they're kind of equally divided. There's one deep one in there. Tuck this little piece under, like that. There. See? Margot's over there playing in her cardboard box. So you probably hear her. Alright, I'm just going to tuck this in here. And tuck this one under here. Good. See? Not too fussy. It'll still be beautiful. So that was one. So for the doggy bandana, since it's just a triangle, what I'm going to do is a little different style. Now for this one, we could take a central point, just back from the neck, across the shoulder, and I pull it straight down like this, holding the tip. And then I'm going to start putting rubber bands about 1/2 inch back from the edge. This takes a little more work because you have to make sure they're on tight. Okay. So there's the first one. And we're just going to space them out, and I'm going to put a rubber band about every 1/4 inch. So the idea is wherever the rubber band is, it's going to restrict the dye. So you'll have little white spots. And then in between, you put the different colors. And it's going to make sort of a starburst effect or a bullseye. Okay. So just continue with that. There, like that. There we are. You can kind of twist it as you go. I had friends over and we all made tie-dyes, and everybody sort of started with one that was following the directions, and then after that we sort of played around and did whatever we felt creatively. And some of the ones that they did that I thought were just going to be a big muddy mess actually came out really beautiful. So I'm being less uptight and more Bob Ross. Oops, that's a little too far. These are really great rubber bands. I have a drawer full of them from the few batches that I've already made, and I've used them over and over again. So, I mean, I'm just very impressed with this company altogether. Okay, almost done. Okay, just a few more. And I'm not making it super tight because it pulls the fabric too tight and you don't get as much saturation with the dye. So I'm trying a little bit different this time. I'm not making it really, really super tight. And of course, if you wanted the ends to be all one color, you could just leave it like that. You don't have to go all the way to the end, but I am going to. At least a little bit more. Okay. And one more. And I like to sort of tuck the end up. So, the important thing is once we put all the dye on, then we're going to take some plastic shopping bags, some grocery bags, plastic bags, and we're going to put the wet shirts that are full of dye. We're going to put one in each bag and just keep it in the bag for 24 hours. So that's why tomorrow I'll be doing the finale and we'll see what the shirt looks like. Yay. Okay. So that one's finished. So let's do another shirt. So the next one is child's medium. And I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to pinch through to the other side. Make sure you got the bottom. Start to turn it and then begin to wrap the shirt around my fingers. And sort of make it flat if you can. Tuck in the little tag. And now I put on the rubber bands. One this way. And one this way. And one this way. And one this way. Yeah. Just want to make sure they don't slide off. I think that's good. See? And each one is going to be unique. Let's do another one. Let's do a big one. This one is a men's medium. And this one, I'm going to do the starburst pattern. So I'm going to start in the middle, as before, pinch, but this time I'm going to hang it this way. I'm going to put the series of rubber bands this way. And it's great because you can mix up the dyes and keep them in the plastic bottles, and you don't have to use it all up at one time. They stay very well. So everything is pretty stable. So at nighttime I can sit and tie a whole bunch of shirts and then time it so that I can put it in the soak and then dye it, knowing that 24 hours later I'll be ready to rinse, untie, and then put them in the wash, because you have to wash them with a special textile soap so that it sets the dye, and then from there on, when you launder your shirt, it won't run and the colors stay vibrant. My first batch, I actually was a little afraid to use too much dye, and I did have a lot of white still on the shirts, but it looked great. I really liked it. But I've since learned to just really saturate it, even if it's drippy and messy. Because then you put it in the plastic bag and just let it set. Okay, I don't think I can get it around again. With the bigger shirts, it's a little more awkward. I get the rubber bands tight. I remember trying to make tie-dye shirts once when my parents weren't home. And of course I used RIT dye and the washing machine, and oh, it was not good. I thought I pretty much cleaned everything out and no one would notice the mess I made, but there was some dye still in there and it wasn't good the next time the laundry was getting done. This system works much better. All right. There we go. So, we have 2 spirals and 2 starburst. But maybe we should make one more shirt in this starburst. It's really fun to do these. This is, well, that's a large. Let's do a small. This is long and thin. All right. Start from the middle. Pinch and pull up. Drape. And of course, there are many ways to do this because you can fold them in a fan pattern. Fold like pleats. Continue, 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 and hold it down and then tie it so it comes out more geometric. So maybe the next batch I'll try something a little different. Okay. I don't have a full bucket of the soda ash water, so I don't want to put too many things in. So you want it to really absorb. Saturate the whole shirt. All right. I think the hardest part is actually rinsing them out and untying them. And for that, I'll probably have to take you into the bathroom so you can see the process in the tub. I'll have to figure out the camera for that one. All right. One more. There. And one more is done. So now I'm going to place them in the bucket off to the side here. Put the flat ones in first. And I'm going to just curve these around like that to drop in. And I'm going to put on some gloves so I can push it under the water and make sure it gets very saturated. Okay. I'm just squeezing the air out of the shirt. All right. Now just let those sit. And they're going to continue to take on more of that fluid. Okay. Now we're going to mix the dye. So, knowing me, this is the stage where I put my apron on. Okay. My hot chili. Okay. For this, we're going to use this little plastic pitcher, beaker. And they do advise and provide a little mask to put over your nose and mouth, because the second chemical that we're going to use is the urea. It's organic nitrogen. You don't want to inhale any of the dust. All right. So I'm probably going to sound funny. Let's see. Hello. Okay. It'll be a little muffled. I'm going to look over my notes. Fold and tie shirt. Check. Soak in soda ash solution. Check. Mixing the dyes. So we're going to mix 1 tablespoon, and 1 cup of warm water, 8 ounces. We'll find our mark first. There's 10 ounces, 9, 8. So I'm going to mark it with my thumb. And I'm going to mix this in. All right. There's 8 ounces. And I always have extra chopsticks in the house from to-go sushi. And they make great stirrers. We'll make sure it's completely dissolved. That's good. I'm going to use this little plastic lid. There. So let's start with new emerald green. I'm going to put on another pair of gloves. They're very cheap. They break. Be careful. Okay. very green. Okay. We're going to use 2 teaspoons. There's our teaspoon. And I should be mixing this in a smaller container and making a little paste and then adding this liquid to it. But I forgot to bring that out, so I'm just going to go for it. 1, 2. Look at this. That's very green. Look at that. Okay. I'll cover this up very quickly before I make a mess. Make sure it's very tight. Use my chopsticks again. And you want to make sure there aren't any little blobs of powder in there, because the dye will pop when it goes into the fabric and you'll get little speckles and splatters, which actually I think would be kind of a neat effect. That's pretty green. Okay. So now I'm going to pour it into one of the squeeze bottles very carefully. Here's our funnel. Which they also provided. I'm going to pour it in. Perfect. So we have our green. It's got a tight-fitting cap. Okay. Ready for color number 2. Same thing. We're going to do the deep purple. One tablespoon of the urea crystals. Eight ounces of warm water. Get our mark with my thumb. And mix. If you're doing a lot of dyes, you might need to reheat the water a little bit so that it dissolves, but it's still working quite well. And there's 8 ounces. Another set of chopsticks. good. And we're going to get 1 teaspoon. This is the deep purple. Ooh, it looks black. It's very, very dark. Let's start with 1 teaspoon. Ooh, I like this color. There's number 2. Okay. Cover it up quickly. And we'll begin to mix. This is beautiful. I love this color. Look at that. That's very, very purple. All right. And this is our second squeeze bottle. Get our funnel ready. And pour it in. I don't know if I told you, but I used to work in a lab. I actually ran a lab in a small clinic. So these skills are a little familiar to me. Although I don't often use them now. All right, there's our deep purple. Purple. Okay. There, that's better. All right. On to the third. Electric blue. Hard to say. Looks kind of grayish. All right. Let's get our granules. One tablespoon. Okay. 8 ounces of water. Put my thumb on the mark. This little purple color still in there. All right. And now we add the dye. One teaspoon. Ooh. 2 teaspoons. Put the cover back on. Wow, that is very bright blue. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Gorgeous. That's electric, all right. Okay. Our third squeeze jar. And the funnel. Very pretty. Okay. All right, one more. And this last one is blue violet. Okay, last time. One tablespoon. Ounces of water. Last chopsticks. And blue violet. Again, really blackish blue. One teaspoon. And 2 teaspoons. Ooh. Yeah, it's like the perfect blend of blue and violet. Very pretty. Okay. And our last squeeze bottle. like cobalt blue. All right. Now we're ready. Make sure these are on tight. Put our dies to the side. Keep the paper towel handy. Put away the chemicals. Move the messy stuff out. A nice clean surface to work on. And before we start, I'm going to keep the extra gloves handy in case I get a rip. So far so good. And I'm going to bring out some table paper to work on. So between each, maybe not every color, but certainly between each shirt, I'm going to change the paper, wrap it up, and put it to the side so we don't get a big muddy mess. Go. Bring out our dies. All right. I'm going to put green, blue. This is the blue violet and the violet. So let's start with so I'm just going to squeeze out the excess. That's our soda ash water. This is our first little packet. Ready? I'm just going to pick an area and saturate it. Going to put a lot of color. This little pie wedge. I'm going to put it in between all the little folds. Make sure it really takes in a lot. And I don't care if it drips out the bottom, that's fine. Okay. And put a little in the middle and a little on this side. And whatever pattern you like, whatever floats your boat. Gotta make sure it really saturates. Oops. Okay, that's a nice piece of green. I'm going to turn it over and do the back side a little green. Like that. And there. Okay. And I'm going to do some electric blue. Oh, I like this. I'm making a big juicy mess here, but that's okay. Just carry on. Really soak it in. A little bit here. And then violet blue. It's really dark. And then deep purple. And of course, where they, whoops, where they touch each other, the colors will blend and form other colors. And you won't know how it's going to look until you open it. Okay. That's pretty saturated. And I turn it over the other way and check to make sure it's all covered. There it is, a big dyed mess. I'm going to take one of these nifty little plastic bags and put it right in there. And just close it up like that. Nothing fancy. And put it to the side. And it has to stay like that, wet with the dye, for 24 hours. So now I'm going to move this paper out of the way. Let me make some artwork. I'll put it on the refrigerator. And I'm going to put another layer of paper. And carry on. Okay, the other cinnamon roll. I'm going to start with the blue. I'm squeezing it while the tip is deep into the layers. So saturate all the way into the inside. The first time I did this, I didn't use enough dye because I saw it dripping out the bottom and assumed that I had overdone it. But that's fine. You can use as much as you like. Okay. Then some green. Oh, just getting creative this time. Okay. And some blue violet. I love these colors. And some deep purple. Okay. Very saturated. And then we get another plastic bag. Like that. Number 2. So you can see why we put plastic down. All right. Number 3. One of the long ones. Okay. Let's start with blue at the tip. So that'll be the very center of the shirt. And I'll do a few more while I have the blue. Sort of roll it, get in the little folds. Do another one here. You can see it's already bleeding through some of the other areas. It's going to be very pretty. I find these easier because you can roll them and the colors seem to stay separated better. And a little bit down here, we'll put a couple colors on the end. So just like that. And some green. Some green here. And a little here. Okay. Blue violet. Whoa, this one keeps going for some reason. All right. And deep purple. I don't see any white. Okay. Look at that. Another bag. It doesn't have to be airtight, it's just to keep it wet. Look at this pretty picture. It's like a Rorschach test. And the last one. Oh, we have the little bandana at the bottom. Okay. Put violet in the center. And then we're going to do a line. I'm going to make this one different. And then we're going to turn it a little bit and do green. I'm going to do blue. I love this blue. Usually I do 8 at a time. It takes a long time. Some more green. And because this has been soaked in the soda ash, it doesn't just all blur together, because as soon as the color hits the fabric, it starts to take. Let's do some more blue. So even though it looks like it's covering each other up, it actually will stay separated somehow. And it won't be a solid mass of color, because a lot of the dye is not going to get all the way through. And there'll be some white spots in the middle when we untie it. Okay. That's pretty good. All right. Into the bag. The last tiny little one. I'm just going to do that. Little teeny doggy bandana. This one I'm just going to do the blue, violet, and blue. I'm going to alternate. And blue, and blue, blue, and blue. Okay. Ta-da! Wasn't that easy? All right, so I don't have another plastic bag out, so I'm going to put this right on top of this one and just roll it in. And that's it. Until tomorrow. I'm going to take all of these and put it in a big bag and clean up all my mess. And it'll be tomorrow for me, but it'll just be a snap for you, and I'll be back. Okay, bye for now. All right, well, it's been 24 hours for me, And only a moment for you. I found my good gloves from the office, the medical office where I used to work. My hands are a little wet. Should I put these on first? And these are latex free and they have no powder inside. So they're hard to get on when you have damp hands. There you go. I like the way they look. All right, don't get carried away. I want to finish the project. All right, so the last steps are to run cold water over the fabric while it's all still tied and keep going until it starts to noticeably lose some of the extra dye. Then we start to warm the water up and then finally finish with hot water and take the bands off. Then we're going to quickly bring it over to the washing machine and we're going to use 1/4 cup of the textile soap. And this is going to help to set the color and make it permanent. But it has to be a hot wash. And then we'll get to see the final product as soon as the wash finishes. And I'll show it to you before I put it in the dryer. All right, let's get the water running. This water is really cold. Okay, now I'm going to start warming it up. pretty warm water at this point. Not hot. Okay, now we're going to start to undo the rubber bands. Okay. Another one. Looks pretty awesome. I'll give you a little sneak. Look at that. Woohoo! Okay. Oh, it's pretty beautiful. Okay, two more. This warm water feels awfully nice. I feel like filling the tub up. All right. All done. Now I'm going to take all of the shirts, put them in a plastic bag, and take them out to the laundry. All right. Be back again in a moment. have since been dried, and they're ready for you to see them. Here's the little baby one. Isn't it beautiful? We'll use our beautiful citrine point to trace a little of the patterns and to point out some of the colors. As you can guess, this is the quiet portion of the video. Since you've stayed alert to this point, I know some of you haven't. But this part can be used by itself. I'll mark the time on the description because this part is going to be extremely relaxing. So this one has a lovely swirl with accents of green and a splash of green at the bottom corner. And a bit of green on one sleeve. So this is one that was swirled around my hand. And next, this one was the children's medium. This has more green. With purple and blue on the sleeves. And this one was also a swirl with little starbursts that came through on the bottom. And that's the back. It has a very large blue sweep. It's very pretty. And the intensity of the green looks like leaves. I like the back of this one. Very swirly. This is the center. And next was the other type that we made. This is the men's medium. Here's the front. This one was the starburst version, where we started with a central point and dyed it and then tied. It came out radiating a beautiful starburst. I really like this one because it has very intense purple with a ring of the electric blue This is a women's small. And this one again was the starburst pattern from the center. And this center has a ring of white around it, and then violet and blue for several rings, and then green to the ends. And here's the other side. Very pretty. The sleeves got a little of everything. Alright, and last, and my favorite, and I don't know which dog will wear it first. This was the little bandana that I made. Little hair. Looks like Marco's been here. Isn't that pretty?